In this emotional and deeply personal videos, we delve into the untold story of Calum Scott. Not just the singer who moved the world to tears with Dancing on My Own, but the man behind the music. We explore the hidden struggles, painful losses, and quiet triumphs that shaped his life before and after fame. From the trauma of growing up different in a small town, to the burden of silence and the healing power of truth, this is a journey that goes far beyond the spotlight. On the night of April 11, 2015, a quiet, unassuming man stepped onto the stage of Britain's Got Talent. Dressed modestly and visibly nervous, Calum Scott was not someone you'd expect to become an overnight global sensation. But as he began his haunting rendition of Robyn's Dancing on My Own, time stood still. The raw emotion in his voice echoed across the theater and through television screens around the world. Simon Cowell hit the golden buzzer, sending Calum straight to the live shows and into the hearts of millions. But behind the spotlight, Calum Scott's story is far more complex than a moment of televised glory. It's a story marked by personal tragedy, deep internal conflict, heartbreak, and redemption. It's the story of a man who fought against the tide of rejection, the weight of mental health struggles, and the darkness of self-doubt, only to rise, scarred but not broken, to become one of the most beloved singer-songwriters of his generation. Calum Scott was born on October 12, 1988, in Kingston upon Hull, East Yorkshire, England. Raised by his mother, Debbie, along with his younger sister Jade, Calum's early life was filled with love but not without hardship. His father walked out on the family when Calum was just 2 years old, a loss that would leave a deep, lingering impact. Music wasn't Calum's first dream. As a child, he had ambitions of becoming a professional footballer. But with time, it became clear that his true talent lay in something else: his voice. It was Jade who first recognized this gift. She encouraged Calum to explore music, even pushing him to join local talent competitions. Despite the love within his home, Calum struggled with feelings of isolation. From a young age, he sensed he was different. In school, he was shy and reserved, often the target of bullying. As he reached adolescence, he grappled with a truth he couldn't yet say out loud: he was gay. In a working-class town like Hull, where masculinity and conformity were culturally ingrained, being different meant being vulnerable. Calum's teenage years were marked by a duality that would come to define much of his life: the public persona versus private pain. He excelled academically and was known for his kindness and sense of humor. Yet inside, he battled constant anxiety. His growing awareness of his sexuality became a burden he carried in silence. Coming out was not an option he felt he had. Calum has spoken candidly about how, during his school years, he was bullied and taunted with homophobic slurs, even before he had come to terms with his identity himself. These experiences carved deep emotional scars. "I felt like I was wearing a mask every day," he later recalled. "Pretending to be something I wasn't, just to be accepted. It was exhausting." He found solace in music. It became his refuge, a place where he could express what he couldn't say. His love for artists like Adele, Sam Smith, and Robyn gave him the courage to dream, even if that dream felt unreachable. In his early 20s, Calum began to wrestle more openly with his identity. But the years of internalized shame and fear had already taken a toll on his mental health. He experienced crippling anxiety, bouts of depression, and periods of deep self-loathing. In several interviews, Calum has shared that there were times he contemplated taking his own life. One of the darkest periods came just before his appearance on Britain's Got Talent. Working a desk job and performing occasionally in a Maroon 5 tribute band, Calum felt stuck, in life, in love, in his own mind. "There was a point where I thought, is this all there is?" he said. "I was so unhappy with who I was. I didn't see a way out." His Britain's Got Talent audition catapulted him into stardom. The golden buzzer moment was one of the most iconic in the show's history, and his audition went viral worldwide. But with fame came a new kind of pressure. Suddenly, Calum was in the public eye, and yet he still hadn't fully come out. "It was surreal," he admitted. "People were calling me brave for singing such an emotional song, but I didn't feel brave at all. I felt like a fraud." The success of his audition opened doors, but it also amplified his internal struggles. He began touring, recording, and doing interviews, all while battling severe performance anxiety. He feared rejection, from fans, from the industry, from the world. After the show, Calum released his version of Dancing on My Own, which quickly climbed the charts in the UK and beyond. It was a massive commercial success. But personally, Calum was reaching a breaking point. He had yet to come out publicly, and the weight of that secret was becoming unbearable. In 2016, he finally made the decision to be honest with the world. In an emotional interview, he opened up about his sexuality and the years of torment he had endured. The response was overwhelmingly positive, but it didn't erase the pain of the past. His debut album, Only Human, released in 2018, was a deeply personal project. Songs like No Matter What detailed his coming-out journey with heartbreaking honesty. "I wrote it because I needed to tell my story," he said. "It was the song I needed when I was younger." With Only Human, Calum began to heal. Touring the world, he met fans who shared their own stories of pain and survival. Many told him that his music had saved their lives. In their stories, Calum found purpose. He became an advocate for mental health and LGBTQ+ rights, using his platform to speak out about the issues he had once been too afraid to address. But healing is not linear. There were still moments of darkness. "Some days are still hard," he confessed. "But I've learned to be kinder to myself." Behind the scenes, Calum was also dealing with personal loss. Though private about his family life, he has hinted at strained relationships and the impact of early abandonment by his father. The pain of that loss was compounded by the pressure of fame and the feeling that, even in a crowd, he was often alone. In 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Calum faced a period of intense isolation. Unable to tour and connect with fans, he found himself grappling once again with depression. But this time, he reached out for help. Therapy, meditation, and songwriting became his anchors. Calum's second album, Bridges, released in 2022, was a testament to resilience. With songs that touched on heartbreak, recovery, and hope, it marked a new chapter in his journey. The title track, Bridges, was inspired by the idea of crossing from one life into another, from despair into hope, from hiding into truth. It was not just a song, but a metaphor for Calum's life. Today, Calum continues to write, record, and perform. He remains close to his mother and sister, and has spoken about the support system that kept him grounded. While he remains relatively private about his romantic life, he has expressed hope for the future and a desire to build a family of his own someday. He also dedicates much of his time to philanthropic efforts. Calum supports several mental health charities, speaks at LGBTQ+ youth events, and actively campaigns against bullying in schools. These efforts are not just gestures, they are deeply personal missions rooted in his own lived experiences. But one of the most profound and painful chapters in Calum Scott's life remains shrouded in quiet heartbreak. In 2023, he suffered an unexpected personal tragedy that shook his foundation, the sudden loss of a close friend to suicide. It was a blow that reopened old wounds and forced Calum to confront the fragility of life and the reality of grief. "He was the kind of person who lit up the room," Calum said in an interview, his voice cracking with emotion. "Losing him felt like losing a part of myself." The tragedy sparked a renewed commitment to mental health awareness. Calum began writing a new body of work, rawer and more vulnerable than anything before, exploring themes of loss, love, and memory. He dedicated several upcoming tracks to his late friend, channeling sorrow into melody. "I don't want his story to end in silence," he said. "I want people to know they're not alone, because I've been there too." Calum Scott's story is one of transformation. From a bullied schoolboy in Hull to a global star, his journey is marked by pain but defined by courage. He is more than the voice that moved millions. He is a survivor, a storyteller, and a beacon for anyone who has ever felt like they didn't belong. In his words and music, we find pieces of ourselves: the fear, the doubt, the hope, the healing. And in his triumph, we find a reminder that even in our darkest moments, we are never truly alone. As he continues to evolve as an artist and human being, Calum's legacy grows not just through his chart-topping hits but through the lives he touches with his vulnerability, his compassion, and his truth. If you've made it this far, thank you. Calum Scott's journey is more than a story, it's a message. A reminder that behind every smile is a struggle, and behind every song is a soul searching for connection. If his resilience moved you, if his honesty gave you hope, or if his music ever helped you through a dark time, we invite you to join us in continuing to share stories that matter. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video that dives deep into the lives of the people who inspire us, challenge us, and remind us of the strength of the human spirit.